Hello everyone, and welcome back to Nate the Hoof Guy. Today's video, we're looking at this foot right here. You can see we've got some separation in the heel bulb. That's a telltale sign we've got something wrong in that white line. That problem is going to be right underneath this dark spot right here. We're going to move this horn up above it and expose what's underneath. As I start working with my grinder here, you're going to notice a bunch of red marks along the white line in this foot. These are all a result of this corkscrew rotation in this claw. This claw's got a little bit of a twist in it. That's what's caused those red marks and ultimately what's caused the defect that's causing the problem for this cow right now. So what exactly does this corkscrew rotation have to do with those red marks? Well, when we have that claw, that outside wall of that claw, not making correct ground contact, that means we're putting pressures on that outside wall and ultimately that white line that aren't natural. And that's causing some pressure inside that foot that's causing those little red marks, causing a little bit of bleeding inside where that sole is forming. So over time, as that continues, that is going to create a defect in that white line that's going to allow, once it makes ground contact or once it reaches its way out to the walking surface as it grows, once that defect is out there, it's going to allow bacteria to travel up it. And that can ultimately infect the corium underneath. And that's what we've got here, and that's why we've got to remove this loose horn above it to expose that affected area. I get questions a lot about why and what marks I check in the white line and which ones I don't. You'll notice this one's got a bunch of marks, but I was able to zone in on that one particular mark. The way I do that is these defects or these lesions that are ultimately underneath there are in predictable locations, and their marks in the white line look a certain way. And that only comes with experience, and over time you see enough of these. When it comes to this corkscrew rotation that we have right here, this is a typical location for that defect to be with that rotation. It has to do how the pressures are being applied to that hoof capsule, that outside wall of that hoof. The way that these corkscrews happen is we get a little bit of turning on that medial claw, and that ultimately puts more pressure in this particular location. So that's why a lot of times with a corkscrew claw, this is where we're going to find that particular defect. In later videos, I'm going to show you some other defects that are up higher in the white line, up near the top. Those are caused by a few different things. So that's how I distinguish those. That's how I'm able to pinpoint which ones. Now, as far as which ones I don't need to check, a lot of the marks we see on the sole of the foot are not problematic. Those are surface imperfections, just caused by the normal wear and tear of walking. Here you can get a look at that lesion, see what it looks like. You'll notice we've got new horn up inside there that's nice and soft, but it's forming. I've left this outside wall area here intact, and that's for a reason. I could remove that right now, but what I'm using that for is a bit of protection in case that block were to come off. This cow wouldn't be walking on that very thin sole. It'd be very painful if that were to happen. I'm using this salicylic acid right now, that powder, to help kill the bacteria that's on that lesion so we can ultimately get it to heal. Now let's fast forward 2 weeks ahead to see how this foot's doing. You can see here right now, that lesion is pretty well all healed up. It's kind of hard to tell right now, but we're going to get it cleaned up and you'll be able to see a lot better. Now that this foot has had a couple weeks to heal and this sole is firmed up underneath there a little bit, now I can take that outside wall down to the same level as the rest of the foot and balance this claw out. At a 2-week recheck, there's really not a lot of trimming that needs to get done. We just want to take a look at that lesion and make sure it's healing properly. We're going to zoom in here. You can see we've got this horn up above is all firmed up nice. Like I said, at 2-week time frame, we should have about 1/8 of an inch of horn there. As we zoom into this lesion, you'll notice in the middle, it looks like there's a little bit of redness, like it might still be open. That's actually just hoof color. As it's healing, it's going to be a little bit red there yet. You can see I can run my knife over it without any real concerns of causing any damage because that sole now is a little bit thicker. Give you one last look at this. And then we're going to put this foot down and send her on her way. A couple weeks, we'll pop that block off and be firm enough to walk on. And that is going to end this video. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and we will see you all on the next one.